know more than Max. Max, what's the main character's name again?
Hold on, let me pull up.
Welcome, dear viewer, to the Unironically Opinionated podcast, your first choice in entertainment podcasts. Thank you for listening.
Welcome to Unironically Opinionated, a dumb podcast we're making where both me, Alex, and my friend Max discuss movies, TV, and video games that we watch.
Pretty much.
And so we're not your, average movie critiquers. We actually, apply logic, and we don't accept, Marvel and Disney and whoever else's plots blindly, and, actually look at the writing and special effects and critique.
Although I won't lie, I can turn a blind eye a lot more than he can.
It's absolutely true. And
so let's just say we have two different sides of the spectrum here. We got our critiquer, Alex, and then we got me. Sometimes I'll critique, sometimes I'll just blindly ingest media.
One of us is an idiot. You figure it out. Me personally, I look for a lot of story elements, character arcs, more engaged in the plot and the lore, if you will. But I feel like Max is more, how would you put it?
If it looks cool, I'm a lot more likely to enjoy it. If the effects are bad, I don't enjoy it.
Yeah,
I wish I could say it was that simple, but I mean, there are some movies where I do care about that, and I do think about the story and the characters and the plot. And there are other movies I just turn my brain off and enjoy, and there are other movies where I just can't turn my brain off and enjoy it. Unfortunately, we like to call it Alex corrupting me, because I used to just be able to enjoy everything, and here I am on his podcast critiquing things.
It's a simple process. It only takes years.
Yeah, well, dear viewer, we hope that you can join us and hate movies. Enjoy movies,
I think
of
the
course.
easy way is that I don't know if I really ever am fully immersed, and I'll tear apart the plot and things, and mostly what you're looking for, I feel like, is good visual effects and decent direction.
Yeah.
I think
if the story's half good, the effects and acting and everything can make up for it most of the time.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. I can put up with some bad effects if the story is told well enough to cover for it. So, this week we watched a great little movie called
it's a bit
Avatar.
of an indie film. I don't know if you've heard of it.
A small indie film. I think only 10,000 people tops have seen this movie.
Yeah, who's that guy that directed it? James Cameron?
James or something like that.
I think that's
been a long time.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I feel like this is a good movie for this podcast to start on, because it's a movie, almost no one or everyone has seen.
But you likely don't remember.
Could you tell me the main character's name? No? No one can?
I could.
Not even my co-host?
Hold on.
Very
I had
memorable.
the cast up 5 minutes ago, too. I was looking at this.
Thank goodness. I knew this would happen. I've been saving this one.
I remember his last name was Sully, but I couldn't remember what his first name. Anyway, it's Jake Sully, just by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, I had to Google it. Having said that, I just watched the movie 2 days ago, so
it's
yeah,
it's real memorable. Fun little statistic. It gets 7.8 on IMDb, and honestly, even better on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, 82, both on critics and audience. That's pretty wild. So I won't lie, I'm pretty much a big James Cameron stan for the most part. Except this rewatch was a bit interesting, I would say. I don't know.
I ruined the movie this time.
Yeah, it's kind of true. Fun fact, watching Avatar by yourself might be enjoyable, but watching it with your friend, where you make one meme earlier in the movie and then it just follows and chases you the whole way down, it's another thing. And in this movie, not to make it political, if you will, he's a white savior.
He made it political.
Yeah, it's unseeable. If you start watching with that perspective and you just keep going, that is the plot of this movie. I mean, he becomes their literal messiah.
It's like Columbus, except if he was a good guy and didn't enslave people.
And like in a reference to other media, I guess, like Dune, at least Paul Atreides being the literal, I guess, white savior of Arrakis is written into the plot knowingly. This is just like, because the movie is moving at such a fast pace, it disguises itself. It's like, oh, Jake Sully's integrating into society. We don't really know how much time is passing because all of this happens in like 20 minutes. But he goes from literally learning how to walk on his avatar feet to suddenly being one of the clan and picking his flying beast. And no, I don't know all the names of the damn animals. Sorry, I'm not that big a fan.
I couldn't tell you one single
listening
name in the movie.
You've done it. I
Yeah,
know
no
the
problem, I got you.
Or the Na'vi.
All right, we're gonna move on to what?
I mean, do you have anything to say about the plot of this movie, or? I mean, I can keep going. I could go for like
just
an hour by myself.
Just to sum it up real quick, it's forgettable, kind of cliche. It's nothing special. It's there. It exists. It has a plot. I wouldn't say it's terrible. I mean, you know, it makes sense when you watch the movie. There's no major plot holes that come to mind, but it's nothing special. It's just pretty average plot. I mean, really, let's be real. The visuals made up for everything in this movie. And generally that's good enough for me, but I mean, maybe the first time, you know, when the movie first came out, it's a big deal having all these visuals. I mean, it is groundbreaking tech. I'll give him that. I mean, it's phenomenal. Changed the film history, you know, changed movie history forever with what they did. So it's impressive and I appreciate it. But the story's boring. I'm sorry. I wouldn't say boring. I would just say average. I would say forgettable. You know, I watched the movie a few years ago and went to rewatch it this week, and I just didn't remember any of the characters. I remembered the overview of what happens, right? The guy comes in, gets the Navi body, and he ends up joining their team. You know, he changes team mid-match and collects the dub.
Takes his shirt off and joins the skins rather than the,
Yeah, so I remember the overview, but I couldn't tell you a single character name, not even the main character. I mean, as you just heard.
Easy.
So yeah, I would say, you know, they've done some good things and they've done some other things that made me forget the movie.
Okay, well, I mean, I have questions. Starting, I guess we'll start with your field of quote unquote expertise, since we're clearly well equipped to talk about movies and have great credentials to do so.
Absolutely.
Since you are, supposedly the visual effects guy, how do you feel like the visual effects have held up after all this time since 2009?
Let me start off by saying I'm not a professional visual effects guy in any way, shape, or form. We're
incredibly professionals,
I mean, yes,
I'm a well-published author somewhere that you can't find, and I'll never tell you
short
where.
Films.
Max does this full time. Definitely, we are definitely professionals.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on.
The
visuals, I mean, they hold up really well still. They're phenomenal when it first came out. Still really good, honestly. I think they nailed what was most important, which was the characters. As long as the characters look and feel good and don't have that uncanny valley feel to them, I think that's what matters most, because you don't want to watch the movie and every scene of characters in that feels off. That would have ruined the movie. But thankfully, they nailed that. We were paying attention to it. They have like veins and, they breathe and they have different, light diffusion and everything. And it's really well done. And thankfully they were able to nail that aspect. And obviously all the nature and environments, I thought they killed it as well. All the trees and shadows and lighting and everything looked amazing. There were a few parts that haven't held up as good as others. Mostly you
remarked on the Panther fight early on.
Yeah,
I think I remarked on the recruitment of the other tribes towards the end.
Yeah, the
remember
Panther fight scene at the beginning is a little rough. I think the way it was filmed was kind of dizzying as well, but honestly, I give them props for that because at least they tried. But yeah, the Panther model looks rough.
Like
it just looks a bit too smooth.
It's like too
yeah.
smooth. I would say even the wood in that scene looks like really chunky
and
or something. I don't know how
some of the
best to
scenes where he
describe it.
crashed through, maybe in their, I don't know, when they have to simulate breaking.
Wood breaking.
Yeah, something in there. It looked a little
Not enough splinters, you know.
yeah,
I
a
want
little
more
low poly
splinters.
or something. I don't know.
Next
but
time, more splinter budget.
more Splinter budget, please, James
Yeah, I feel
Cameron.
like at the end when they're like, "Oh, we don't have enough Navi now that the big tree died." Spoilers, by the way.
We hope you've seen this movie by now.
And no one has seen it, so I just spoiled the whole movie for everyone. But after the big tree dies, you know, I feel like they go around recruiting the other clans in like a montage, and it just feels like a PS3 scene almost, where they're like, "Okay, we gotta go get the other tribes," and like 2 seconds at each tribe, and everybody like is barely like everybody's barely doing anything. A lot of the images are somewhat static, and I'm like, okay, maybe this they cut the budget out of, which I guess is fair, but that's how I was feeling, at least CGI wise. The rest of the movie's pretty good still. Everything's a little smoother than I remember, but I feel like, you know, 12 years. I guess go watch The Mummy from Brendan Fraser and tell me that the movie is as smooth as this.
Yeah, I feel like they really made up for it with how unique the environment looked as well, with all the glowing areas and, you know, the purples and, you know, all those cool shades. It wasn't just a forest. I think that really made up for it and giving it
the
that
lighting does save a lot of the CGI.
good feel. Yeah, for sure.
I guess switching back to the more narratively and plot driven, one thing I notice is a couple of the characters have really clear character arcs, even if they're rushed, and other ones kind of don't.
All right, can we talk about the general guy? Let me look up what his name is.
Yeah,
we all know I don't know character
the villain.
names.
Yes,
the villain.
Of course, I remember his name.
Colonel Miles Quaritch.
Max, that is not how you say Colonel.
You're right. I was just reading and not thinking.
Colonel, indeed.
Colonel Sanders.
Colonel. Colonel Miles. We'll just call him Miles.
Yeah, we'll call
Dear God.
But just kidding. Colonel Sanders here.
Sir Colonel, if you will.
Yes. Military man.
He's truly. I feel like actually most of the people in this movie are very much caricatures. But I guess he's actually got an okay arc where it's like, you know where he's at the beginning, you know what he's doing, and this is his plan. That's what he's doing the entire movie. I've got a question for you. What was Sigourney Weaver's character arc?
Science. And then she dies.
Jesse Pinkman, are you there?
Yo, Mr. White.
Science, bitch. Yeah,
Yep.
All right.
Enough of our bad impressions.
You'll have to suffer them. Can't wait for the Arnold Schwarzenegger episode. It's coming soon.
Please no.
Please, yes.
Rick and Morty. When?
Rick and Morty, when?
Anyway.
I just feel like every character is a caricature, and if the character has a character arc, it's not fleshed out. It's just things are happening in this movie because this is the plot of the movie. I mean, even at the beginning, there's a great scene where they're cremating his brother, and they're literally pitching him the plot of this movie before the ashes are, you know, done in the oven.
And his brother doesn't get mentioned.
Oh, never again.
Time.
It's done.
After that, that's it.
The agents are like, there's a lot of money in it, and then they turn the flames on. Like the body's still in there, bro.
Yup.
So
I really don't think he gives him a second thought. He says, "Oh,
dog issues.
This Navi chick."
It's gonna be a Poggers moment. Hang on.
Poggers moment incoming.
You were saying Navi?
Yeah. I mean, you know, he just forgets about his brother. Says, "Hey, we got these Navi. That'd be pretty sick. Yeah, I'll do it." falls in love with the Navi chick, and the rest is history. Forget about your brother.
He's down bad.
Man's dead.
He's down bad.
Man's dead, and he's down bad. So
He's down
you're
bad.
welcome. You've now seen Avatar. Congratulations.
You've seen
Roll
Avatar.
Credits. Directed by
Max,
Cameron
what
guy.
would you rate this movie? In fact, I feel like we're gonna end up with a large tier list on this channel. And my question is,
Should
if
we
you
say
had to
that
rate-
in the end, just to get our viewers to watch the entire thing, or skip to the end?
or skip to the end?
Just to
just
make
skip-
it more
Just
clear
skip
and
the
concise.
rest of this entire video. Just skip the video.
What if if they
right
want
to the
the
end.
ratings? If they want
Just
the
come
ratings,
right to the ending.
they don't want to find it in the middle of the video. They just want to skip to the end and hear it.
Well, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
we'll mention it here real quick.
No,
I
we're gonna
guess.
mention it here, and
Okay.
honestly, if they want to know,
Wrap
if
it
they're
at the
real
end.
fans, they'll listen to the damn episode.
Real fans, where you at?
Real fans, where are you at?
Comment
Episode 1.
first
Get
if
in
you're
here.
a real fan.
Comment now, right now. I was just gonna ask what you would rate this, I guess, on the letter scale, and why.
Can we do a 1 to 10 scale instead?
I mean, yeah, but like, sure, but you also have to give an S through F rating so we can put it on a tier list later.
Oh, that kind of tier list.
And no one wants to see 10 at the top of a tier list, Max. It's S or nothing.
It's nerf for nothing. All right.
It is nerf for nothing.
I'm leaning towards C. It's not bad.
Okay.
It's not great.
What would you say?
Visuals
C is?
are good.
Hey, hang on.
Characters
Now
are
that you've
meh.
got me interested, what is a C on a 1 through 10 for you?
It's about a 5. Even mid movie.
Even 5.
Just
mid
mid.
movie.
Yeah,
Mid
that's
movie.
it. It's mid. I wouldn't
But
say it's
they've-
bad. I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend it. It's a fun
Is there-
movie to watch the
Is
first
there
time.
Is there a fix that makes this movie match its insane Rotten Tomatoes score?
No.
There's no fix. It's destined to be the 5.
Well, here's the thing. Rotten Tomatoes is either you like it or you don't. So I would say
That's
I like
true.
it. I would say the first time I watch it, I like it. It's not one I really enjoy rewatching, but it's not terrible. I wasn't like suffering through it, apart from the dialogue.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention the dialogue.
But yeah, I'd say C, 5 out of 10, mid,
C, 5
perfectly
out of
mid.
10, mid.
It's a good way to start the podcast. A perfectly mid movie, at least on my scale.
I mean,
I'm
that
sure
wasn't
Alex's scale
That
will
wasn't
be
the intention, but it's
very
definitely going to be a slightly under for me. I would say 4 out of 10. Probably C on the letter scales is probably about accurate. And the reason I feel that way is it just has such a breakneck pace, and the story is just. I don't care about the characters at the end of the day. I don't. They're all bland. They're all generic. They're so generic, we can't remember any of their names except for Jake Sully because I needed to remember it to throw it at Max.
and I had to Google it.
Exactly. That is the reason.
So,
And, like you mentioned, the dialogue is fantastic in this movie. It's really good. Really
you know
well
what
done.
I was gonna take some notes during the movie. Here's the 3 things I wrote down. 1, full screen. Well,
Oh, yeah,
we
full
thought it would
screen
be
cancer.
widescreen, and I guess it was
Cancer.
full screen. Maybe it's because it was made for IMAX, and when they put it on streaming, they said, "Hey, throw in the IMAX version." I don't know. I wouldn't say that's a bad decision, but I agree with Alex that widescreen is better.
Widescreen.
And then next, moves at a breakneck speed. I mean, this movie doesn't slow down. It's really fast, which I guess makes for an easier rewatch. I think it's only like an hour and 44 minutes.
I feel like you're.
No, 2 hours and 40. Wow, 2 hours
it's
and
a
42
long movie.
minutes.
I was gonna say this is not a
It did
short
not
movie.
feel-
They
it did
jam
not
a
feel that
ton
long.
into that 240 runtime, and it's still long, bro.
Honestly, I'm glad they kept it at a breakneck speed then, because it didn't feel like an almost 3 hour long
I guess
movie.
my question is, could this have worked better as multiple movies? Since that's the
Yeah.
fad today is like, okay, Deathly Hallows 1, 2. Since then, we're gonna make everything into Dune.
I feel
1,
like they
2.
could have split it into 2 parts.
Would it have been better? Would we have liked it that much?
could have
Would
really-
you go back to it?
Well, it's hard to say just based on the one movie because the characters are boring, but I wonder if they could have fleshed out the characters better if they were to split it into two parts. Could have gotten more of their backstories, at least James Sully, what's Jake Sully? Wow.
You done it. You already done it. It's
Canon? James Sully?
Canon. James Sully Canon.
At least
He
they
hides
could
in your
have
closet.
showed us more of
He's,
his backstory, more of even just how any of this started. We were wondering, we're like, oh, so what are like the politics like? What are the other countries okay with this? Is this
like,
America
is this
invading
UN
this
or
country?
America? I guess
And
it's
then they
kinda
mentioned,
hinted.
what did they mention, Pakistan or
They're
something?
definitely Christian white nationalists because,
I mean, they are, because
that's what it is. They reference God. They reference kind of America with the military structure. That's what it is.
It's heavily implied that it's America, but we really have no idea since this is some alternate reality set in the future. So,
yes.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, they reference tours in Nigeria, which makes me
that's
think
what it was, Nigeria. Yeah.
Definite American imperialist influence. I made a political.
It's foreshadowing. Anyway, yeah, and then the last thing I mentioned was, quote, "Look, killing the indigenous looks bad." And I believe that was the military man, and I feel like that sums up the entire dialogue in the whole movie. It's just bad.
Is it just
Look,
there's a lot of
killing the
stating
indigenous
the
looks
obvious
bad.
and then repeating themselves so that they can remind you what's going on because the movie's moving too fast.
Yeah, the dialogue was written for a 5-year-old.
In addition,
it had to be blatantly obvious.
Yeah, in addition to keep the PG-13 rating, there's a lot of times where characters would, say swears and then they don't. They say like, "Dang it." I don't know. But
Yeah, I will say I kind of like the humor more though.
A couple of really unique non-swears in there, which
Something I appreciated about the humor is that they didn't go overboard with it, because I sure didn't laugh at most of it, but at least it wasn't like blatantly trying too hard and, he's right behind me, isn't he? I had to say that one.
Hashtag Thor, coming in clutch these days.
We'll be referencing our hatred. I mean, dislike for Marvel jokes quite a bit.
I don't hate Marvel. I just hate what Marvel's doing right now.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to watch She-Hulk. Everybody.
We'll be watching day one.
Anyways, do you feel like any part of the characters being so bland has to do with the acting choices?
No.
Can
you
you
said
put
it has
any
some
of
of
it
your
on the
favorite
actors?
actresses in the movie. That's what you said,
Yeah, well, my favorite
2
actress
minutes
is in the
in.
movie, but she's, mo-capped the entire time. But in addition to that, I do, when I watch, Jake Sully, but there's no emotion. What does he do that one line? He's like, hoorah. I think I did it with more emotion.
He's doing the narration, and he's like,
we got to climb the mountains.
Hoorah.
Hoorah.
The most blank-faced,
It was really, really dry.
Hoorah I've ever. And he's supposed to be saying this to himself as like a video diary
maybe that's
too, right?
supposed to be comedic, but it feels wrongly comedic now in some way. It's like too dry.
If it was comedic, it went right over my head.
And
Or we laughed at it for a
back to
complete
laughing.
different reason.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe it went so far over to our head that it actually somehow still hit us. Humor still lands, just
It's a boomerang.
full circle. Yeah, full
Straight
circle
past
humor.
us and smacked us in the face, just not how we were expecting it to.
Yeah, exactly. You know what it is.
Yeah, what's the girl from Twilight?
That is.
He's just the male counterpart to Kristen Stewart.
Oh, it's
Is it Kristen Stewart?
I think that is Bella, right?
Yeah, it's Kristen Stewart.
You're talking about Robert Pattinson, right?
Yeah. No, I'm talking about Kristen Stewart. Robert Pattinson's fine.
Yeah.
He's
I
like
think it's
he's the
Kristen
male Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, he really is.
Having said that, I haven't seen Kristen Stewart in anything besides Twilight, so I just want to apologize in advance if she is a good actress.
Have you seen
just
this
don't
actor
know.
in anything but Avatar?
Absolutely not.
Interesting. A little footnote there for you. So I guess having talked through most of this movie, and I'm sure we'll circle back on something we remember in a minute. How are you feeling about an upcoming sequel?
I thought I remember hearing somewhere that it's kind of based off their descendants, and I think that's what future movies will be, is about their descendants and their descendants and their descendants and so on. But
That's
interesting. That would
interesting.
be good because that could give them an opportunity to give us characters we actually care about, hopefully.
True.
So I'm kind of down if that's gonna happen. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be, if nothing else, I just want them to further technology like they did with the first. I mean, all the water looks fantastic. I don't know if they did something new for that,
water.
but look, if they could do that at the very least, the movie would not be useless. So I would appreciate that.
All I'm saying is that, you know, the main Navi chick, Jake Sully, they're both back. Somehow humans are back on the planet. Don't ask, we don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
they gotta get that unobtainium.
best name. Best adamantium ever, you know, best vibranium name that you could come up with is unobtainium. You can't get it.
They didn't exactly obtain it, did they?
They're coming back.
It was foreshadowing the whole time.
Yeah, we didn't say nuke them from orbit enough times while we were watching, so.
It's really a miracle they didn't. I mean, they tried to, but they didn't have a nuke. They just had a bunch of.
They just tied.
They had a bunch of
every
small
hand
TNT.
They tied every hand grenade they could into a bundle, and then they tried to drop it off the back of a space shuttle.
Just one space shuttle.
Just
one pallet. It was a pallet of like grenades and stuff just strapped together. Like, yeah, that'll do it. That's fine.
My favorite is it almost would have just been better if they tried to like kamikaze the space shuttle into the tree. That might have done more.
I feel like that's how the army general guy should have died. Like self-sacrifice. Like, we got to get that.
As if he didn't like survive way more than he should have 4 times in that movie.
Gets blown up. He falls. He fights Jake Sully. He's alive.
He walks out into that atmosphere and fires a handgun at an airplane to kill Sigourney Weaver, and you know it doesn't work out.
Forgets he has to breathe and runs to get a mask.
yeah. When somebody runs up, he's like, "You forgot your mask, bro."
No, it's good. I got plot armor so far. I don't have to.
He has plot armor till the end, dude. He has so much plot armor that the amount of people that want to kill him in that movie that he just lives through, it's like they had to actually break his plot armor.
Yeah.
So
they had to break it like 4 times.
Yeah.
So they could finally get through and kill him.
It recharges if they don't try hard enough, you know.
It's like on a meter.
Yeah.
80%, not good enough.
Not good enough.
Still alive. Thanks for repeating that.
I'll repeat anything you say.
Anyway, one thing I am excited for is the potential video game, which last I heard is either coming out next year or the year after. So it's still a ways out, but that was one thing that I thought while watching the movie is this would make for a very cool video game. I mean, you know, the world is cool, the visuals are cool, aliens have potential apart from what they do to animals. And so, yeah.
You know what kind of video game it's going to be?
I don't know. I would hope it's like an open world thing because that kind of feels like it has to be or should be. But
I just wonder if it's like an MMO or like a RPG or both.
I have no idea. It's okay. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. I think.
Oh, it's made by Ubisoft. I'm already scared.
Oh, they already have a trailer. Wow.
First person action
Screenshots are cool.
So I think it's gonna be single player, from what I can tell.
That could be good. Maybe it'll have a better story than the movie did.
I would say that's probably for the best, because I'd say it if it was some kind of MMO, like grind RPG, some Final Fantasy 14-esque thing, I'd probably never play it.
Yeah. Well, the screenshots look really good, so it's cool. I mean, it's probably being made specifically for next-gen consoles and... Oh yeah, exclusively for a new generation of consoles and PC. Cool. Yeah,
so
that'll
what
be...
what are you more
cool.
excited for, the sequel movie or the game?
The game.
The game.
I mean, I'm sorry. This seems like a cooler concept in general for a video game than it does a movie. At least my opinion. I mean, maybe I only think that because of how the first movie was executed, but...
He just wants to plug his hair USB stick into the Sky Beasts, you know what I mean? No?
No.
Okay.
I just want to explore the world, okay? It's a cool looking world. Anyway, yeah, so... I don't know. Game looks cool. Movie looks fine.
Yikes.
The sequel does... I wouldn't say it looks bad. It just looks... I mean, the teaser we've gotten so far, we've only had the one teaser trailer, and...
Yeah,
It's
not
fine.
much.
Just some music playing and a few visuals that look good.
That's
but
really true. They
Can
had
they
like
make up
one
for
line
another
in it.
mid-story? I don't know.
Someone else I talked to said that he thinks they're not done dubbing the movie, which is why there was only one voice line in the teaser. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
yeah,
What do you think about it?
Oh, yeah,
Do you think you're more excited for the movie or the game? Or are you excited for either?
I've become so jaded about judging games on their trailers, mostly due to a great game called Cyberpunk 2077, which, you know, no one has ever heard of. Another, you know, indie project. But that game had great trailers and was in development for 7+ years, and I'm sure everybody plays it, right? It's the next Skyrim.
Yes.
So I get nervous when I watch really good game trailers. It's like I don't want to get too hyped anymore because I worry that the features of the game aren't actually going to be in the game.
Spoiler alert. That's how he feels about movies too.
Yeah.
He doesn't really get excited.
Yeah. Wait
about
for the
things.
wait for the Game of Thrones episode that we do, because Max
Might be in
has
tears
learned-
because he's still recovering.
Max has learned the hard way. So Max knows why I am the way I am. now.
We could go into it. Maybe when House of the Dragon drops, we could have an episode about
Yeah,
it.
well, yeah, I think it'll be probably back to back. We do a Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon discussion, so
Yeah, that'll be.
probably for the best that way.
I'll bring some tissues for the tears.
Yeah, you'll need them.
It'll be. Yeah. I don't know if I can.
The
through
trauma
that
is
again.
fresh for you, so you know.
Yeah. Having said that, pumped for the new one. Anyway, a little bit off topic there.
A little bit, but hey, you know, we're just teasing. We're teasing the next, you know, couple episodes. So hopefully,
Oh yeah.
you want to hear us talk
Smash
about.
that subscribe.
Yes, yeah, like, subscribe. You know, if you didn't comment earlier, comment now. Now is a good time to comment.
Comment
really,
the
anytime.
word now.
Also, if you don't
If you
want
can
to
put it in
comment, I don't
italics, that'd be nice.
really care. You can just comment
Maybe
anyways.
bold.
Do you know what I mean? Do
Maybe even
anything in
underline
the
it. Just get
comments.
fancy with it.
Hopefully,
Do they let you? They don't let you do that. Never mind.
don't they? I don't know. Anyway,
Smash the dislike button because it doesn't matter anymore.
don't smash the dislike button. Let us into the algorithm. You know,
Give us a chance for survival in this
give us
cruel
a
world.
chance.
Anyway, that's enough of that. I know you hate to listen to it.
Oh. But you know, do it.
Do it.
Do it. Yeah, Star Wars episodes also coming in the future.
Alex
really
will be
big-
crying during those ones. Max has found a way
Max.
to turn his brain off. There's that sigh.
Just stop. Make it stop. Anyway, Star Wars episodes coming in the future. House of the Dragon episodes coming in the future. Also, the next episode we do here will likely be a episode featuring Jordan Peele and talking about his most recent movie. So,
Yeah.
good deal.
Cool.
Is
Thank
that
you to
about-
our
is that-
3.5 viewers.
Yeah, three and a half. We don't know how you got the half, but
Don't worry
congrats,
about it.
You know what I mean? All right. Thanks for watching.
Cool. Tune
we'll
in
catch you
next time.
Yeah.